All right, everybody. I do want to apologize for my performance last time. It was a very long day for me. I was tired. I was trying to jump ahead too quick, not realizing that we have to start slow because there's a lot of stuff involved in PHP that's not real easy to understand if you don't start from scratch. So let's forget all that we did before. We'll get back to that later. I also was so used to doing things with asynchronous JavaScript. You don't need to go to a separate page. In fact, it's best to stay on this page because, as I've mentioned before, nothing that you do in PHP shows up on your elements. Doesn't show up. You won't see anything. So whatever we do in the PHP, they won't know. That's called backend. That's why it's backend. What I did was, in an attempt to make a video beforehand, I just kind of made a new header for the tutorial. We're going to go back to the tutorial. That third page is the one we have these input fields and everything like that. So I just took the header and I made another connection, as we've done before. Username equals root, password's blank. We make a new connection, PDO, blah, 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 blah. Username, password, and this is a function, as I've mentioned before. We're going to make our own functions like we did in JavaScript. These are arguments, and the functionality will tell the PHP what to do inside. We'll make our own functions. We'll use functions with PHP soon. We try the con, we catch the PDOE exception, we die out a message if it doesn't connect. And then we go to I put that in includes. You can put it wherever you want. Then I made a header folder where we put a head page, which is just our header. Same thing we've had before. We get our style sheet from CSS Practice. We put our title and our title variable in there. We require the includes connection PHP. And now we can implement that here with the title that pops up here. Okay? So we're back to where we were. It took about 9 minutes to do that, so I don't want to waste 9 minutes of your life. That's why I don't like when they just rush to things or just say, oh, okay, I did this, that, and the other thing. I should show you how to do that, but again, we've done it before, and I don't want to waste 8-9 minutes typing that up for you. So we can move on to the next thing. This is where we should have started. This is form validation in PHP. When you validate a form, the way things work is that the form, this submit button, sends to this. Now remember we talked about server PHP self, which is already implemented in PHP. If you look, this is what PHP self drums up. Tutorial practice third, that's where this is going to send this form. It's going to send it back to this page. Now, as we've said, programming, computers, servers read everything from top to bottom. So, you want to put your PHP tags up here at the top above all the HTML, and then you want to tell it what to do. If you need to use variables, which we're going to use, we're going to make a variable username, and we're going to do that. We're going to blank it out. We're going to make one text place, and we're going to blank it out. This is called initializing your variables. What this means is that you're giving it an initial value of nothing. This way, there's no confusion on the PHP, and you won't get any warnings. You don't have to do it this way. You can go like this. It's the same thing. It saves you some time if you want to just save time. Doesn't show up, doesn't mean anything because these are just variables. We gave them no values. However, we have another variable that has a name called send. Now, whenever you send a form, the value of the form, actually we shouldn't do that. The values of the form itself, whenever you send it, it's kind of a refresh, okay? You're refreshing the page. Excuse me. Still have my voice back. You're refreshing the page, and you're starting from the beginning again. So it keeps revolving back to this. So you come to this point, send, comes back here, and then it reads this. So if you initialize, like we were doing before, post username, if you were to initialize this post array, it won't say anything. but if you wanted to do something with that, every time you would send the form, it goes back to the top here, and the first thing it says is, oh, let's make username nothing, and it'll blank out all you. So you don't want to do that. The best thing for you to do is to say, in the sense of using a form and sending it back to itself, you want to use the server array. And one of the things that the server array has is request method equals post. Now, from here, if we send a post request, what we can then do is we can then say username equals post username and text place equals post text place. And at that point, we can then, for the sake of making this easier, we can then do that. We're asking for the server to send us a request method. So if we do get that post request method, we're going to die out with nothing because we told it that to make these values, username and text place, we didn't put any values in there. Now, if we were to put values in there, now we get that. We get information because we told the server, if the request method equals post. We said that at the beginning. We said that at the beginning of the page. If we have a post request method, bam. But we don't just want to post data on a die. We want to do something with that data. This is why we make variables, because there are certain functions, and now it's time to look at functions in PHP, pre-programmed functions, that you can do stuff with username. So like, for instance, let's say we wanted to make the first letter uppercase. There's a function, like it's somebody's name, right? Somebody's first name, somebody's last name, you want them to start with uppercase. There's a function called uppercase first. So we can say now username, we can do this up here. We can say username equals U uppercase first post username. I think that's what it is. And now if somebody were to put their names in there, so like, like they put like their name, John Bridge, it now uppercases the first. And there are other uppercase, there's UCL last, I think. Is there a UCL last? I think I might be making that up. Could be wrong though. I could be wrong about being wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. What was the other one I was thinking of? We could do strip slashes. This is a good way to stop people from doing like some kind of MySQL, what's called MySQL injection, where you can screw people's programming and get in there, and then I think was it strip? It's strip slashes, isn't it? Oh, but that's not a, no, that is a slash. What the hell am I talking about? That's a slash. Why didn't you strip slashes? Slashes aren't stripped. But let me take a look. Yeah, that's the one. Again, the PHP manual has like so many. It should be strip slashes. Yeah, I'm not wrong. I mean, what the hell? It's got to be a specific slash. That's not cool. Let me do that over with an apostrophe. Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, no, they're still there. What the hell? Well, strip slashes. You can do HTML characters, special characters. Was it HTML special characters? Yeah, special cars or chars. And what this does is it stops them from hacking your HTML. So they can't do like H1, H1, H2, H2. They can't do stuff like that. It'll just turn them into text. I think that's what it's doing. It's just turning it into text. It's not turning it into like any kind of, so like this is just text. It's not anything that's harmful. It won't like read it as anything else. You can do off the top of my head. What else can I do? You could do all uppercase. I mean, we don't really want to get into. I don't want to get into like security just yet. No, it's not uppercase. What was it called again? Uppercase. String to upper. That's what it was. I should know this stuff. I used to use this all the time because we had users that just didn't understand how to type in capitals. And you get that. Where's my text place? I think there's string to lower, isn't there? Yeah, there's string to lower, okay. So we can do string to lower. I'm refreshing myself while I'm teaching you. No, wait. And then it just lowercases everything. So that there are so many functions, like I said, that you can look up here. Well, in the manual here. There are so many different functions. You can add slashes. You can add slashes. You can explode an array. HTML entities is another one that I used to use a lot, where you tell it what entities you need to take out. So like that would turn it all into like a string. Let's try that one. Let's go like this. HTML entities. I used to use these all the time. And I never thought of making functions to just do this for me. Like I never did. All right, so let's go that, and we'll go BR, and then we'll go P. And again, it just turns it into text. It doesn't look like it's doing anything, but it's turning this into text that they can't use it against you. There is, let me see what other ones are pretty interesting. There's also, well, join. We don't really want to do that until we start doing arrays. LC first. That was the last one. Lowercase first. I mean, that's obvious. I have to show that one to you. But like I said, you have all these functions here that are string functions. And string length is a good one. We'll do string length, because you might want to do this for checks, validations and everything. So if we were to take that and we were to take that, it'll give you the length of the strings. 12, 7. There is string position. There's string to lower, string to upper, which we've looked at. Substring, UC first, UC words, uppercase words. Like, there are all these functions here that are string functions that you can utilize. There are also number functions. Let's go to our function reference. I want to see number functions. It's mathematical extensions. Let's go to number functions. Well, there's number format. That's one of the number functions. And you see, like, all these. Doesn't exist. Can't you give me these are string functions still. Told you this thing reads like stereo instructions. But, like, you have, like, a number format where you can kind of change it. Change the decimal points. We can do something with that. Let's see. Which would be the value, I think it was the value, the number, okay. That would be the value, the number of decimal points after it, and how you convert that, how you convert the decimal point place. There's that. So we can go like, oh, okay, it has to be no, it was a float. String wasn't given. What are you, bullshitting me? I gave you a string. Well, I mean, it is a text. That's that. But, you know, like I said, there are all these little functions that we can use to format our input in a certain manner. But, again, when you're doing a form submission, you want to make sure that you send the request method of post, and you could do get. That's not a big deal. I wouldn't do any gets if you're making a website because that's going to get information and you don't want to send it on HTML or anything like that. So you'd want to post it, and you would do it, the first check being the server request method post, and then you can do what you want with your post variables. So when I come back, we're going to start doing some validation, and we might even send something to a table. I'll be back in a minute.